Hey there, everybody. Lights, camera, action. It's the Chess Today show. Starting off Monday right, and that's what it's all about. And I'm a few minutes late, but it actually wasn't because I rolled out of bed any later than I normally do, about 6 a.m. Hashtag 4kidslife. Hashtag exhausted. But dropped my kid off at middle school, and there was a little bit of drama over there, so... Anyway, let's do this thing. None of that really matters. What matters is what is going on in the chess world. If this is your first time watching the Chess Today show, then you've missed that. It's just basically a daily, sort of casual, almost podcast format, webcast format. International Master Danny Rensch, hi, that's me, going through his day on chess.com, making his moves in his daily chess games, checking out the latest news, always going to solve the daily puzzle, and if we have time for it, maybe some blitz, maybe some bullet, maybe a feature where we get to try out something on chess.com that might make us better. So the first thing, I'm going to start with the news today, because the first thing that caught my eye as I scrolled over to the homepage of chess.com was first of all, if anybody is here paying attention, they know that scowl. If you've watched some Danny Rensch commentary with Hikaru Nakamura, come on, that's scowl number 9. That means he's sort of like pretending to be perplexed, like he doesn't understand what he's seeing, but he knows what he's seeing. He's just unhappy about what he's seeing, which is that Ding Liren is about to beat Boris Gelfand, and that's going to help the Chinese take the Moscow Grand Prix and eliminate Hikaru's chances. So if you didn't follow the Moscow Grand Prix, nobody blames you, because Aegon makes that more dysfunctional than anything else. But if you didn't follow the Moscow Grand Prix, first of all, congratulations to Ding Liren for cracking into the top 10 with this tournament. So congratulations to him. But the big news is not just that he won, but that the three I think favorites, the three people heading in who really had top chances, that being Mamedyarov, Vache Legrave, and Grisha. Grisha wasn't quite there in the end, but Nakamura was. It was a close event. So the Grand Prix series is to decide who will get into the candidates, which is that single tournament that ultimately landed Sergei Karyakin with the chance to challenge Magnus Carlsen last year. So if you're not aware of what the Grand Prix cycle is, that is the purpose for it. And so it's a series of events to kind of get people to earn qualification points, sort of Grand Prix points, as you can see here, and then eventually seed them into an event where they get to challenge the world champion. So Ding Liren is on his way with a huge amount of Grand Prix points earned from winning this, but he also already played in the first leg of the event. Hikaru Nakamura did not play in the first leg of the event. So his, or maybe this is just the Grand Prix points earned from just this event. I actually don't know what the standings are there or what the deal is there, so I should not necessarily speak on that. But fun to see a big list there. We got Ho Yifan. Anish Giri is about to play. Just got an email from Anish this morning confirming that he is ready to rock against Wesley So, right? Getting things going. So if you're not paying attention to the Chess TV calendar, shame on you. Let's go there right now and remind you of what's coming up this week. As many of you can see my show live, I'm here to just show you the schedule. And here you can see that coming up is the Speed Chess Championship. This is a preview show that Jennifer Shahade and I am going to do tomorrow, so catch that. That'll be fun. But the first Speed Chess Championship this week will be Karyakin versus Meyer. And then right after that, on May 25th, we have Anish Giri versus Wesley So. Really the first battle of two seeded people. So Wesley So versus Anish Giri, Thursday, May 25th, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm excited. Anish is excited. Wesley's excited. Everybody's excited. It's going to be epic. Oh, it's going to be epic. All right. But anyway, let's take a look at the content. I know we normally start with my daily chess games, but seriously, this was a huge win for the Chinese, an awesome event as far as the quality of chess goes. We had so much coverage. Of course, we thank Peter, the one and only, the legendary, the world's preeminent, most amazing chess journalist ever. And that is Peter Dawkers. It's a fact. It's not even my opinion. That's a fact. So anyway, but this game here, the game of the day where Ding Liren takes down Boris Gelfand, this is the one that I think we all want to see, right? So I'm going to blitz past the opening because we don't usually have a ton of time for that. Interesting, sort of weird. Queen's Gambit declined. But I don't even know what was it, a Queen's Indian? Now I have to see the opening because this reminds me of my rep. Yeah, so it was a Queen's Indian to start at G3, with like an old Indian development, bishop b4 check. Interesting stuff. Okay, so the game goes on, but here's a critical move, which okay, so with bishop f4 being a novelty, what's interesting is sometimes you assume the first novelty sounds like, oh, that guy was the first one to do something new and different, he's gonna win. But often these guys are so well prepared, they're ready for it. So bishop f4 was a novelty, but Ding Liren plays g5, the first really critical move of the game, which, according to the analysis by Dejan Boykov, who's awesome, by the way, Grandmaster Dejan Boykov, his written analysis, you will learn from these games. So what happens here? Black just launches a kingside attack. That's how you play for a win as black. I mean, Ding Liren won his game as black. If you're wondering again, why did we see Hikaru Nakamura number 9, which means I'm pretending to be perplexed, but I know what I'm actually seeing and I'm just unhappy about it. That's scowl number 9. Why did we see that? It's because he didn't expect Ding Liren to win with black against Boris Gelfand. That's why we saw Hikaru Nakamura scowl face number 9. But Ding organizes his pieces for an attack, and what's coming here? He's going to give up the b6 pawn and doesn't even care. Okay, queen to b4. I like it. Now the f-file's open. That's a piece, Holmes. Why you just give up a piece like that, Boris? Boris, why you give up piece? Apparently he has some compensation with that powerful c6 pawn, but not enough. Look at Boris Gelfand, though. I love the way he plays chess. This guy's going nowhere. This guy is just like, he's of the Vishy Anand generation, the Gelfand, Anand, Ivanchuk. These guys are going to play chess like Korchnoi until they're 85. You know, I mean, just amazing. But okay, not enough here. You're down a rook, and it's just a matter of time. Yeah, here comes c4. That's a mating net, in case you're wondering why you resign now, because now the f2 pawn is hanging, and it's a mating net. So, for example, if white does anything, he's going to take with this rook, and even if rook takes b6, he's checking and checking twice, and he mates the king. So, all right, well, that's our content of the day. Obviously, there's more news than that going on at chess.com/news. Of course, everyone should check it out. That is part of the Chess Today show to remind you of what's going on in the chess world today. But this is about as good of a headlining Nakamura scowl, Ding Liren winning with the black pieces as you can get. So, all right, let's go ahead and go back and jump into my daily chess games, because I've got 8 of them waiting, patiently waiting for a Dan to explode on. They want to beat me. Everybody wants to beat me here. Actually, let's switch back to our other view, I say, because the full board view full screen view is a little more fun, right? All right, well, okay, so this one, the last time you guys were here, this one was much more complicated. My opponent, N. Valera, has not played well. I mean, it started with this plan where, those of you who follow the Chess Today show know that I was in some sort of critical decisions about how I wanted to play on the king side. I liked the idea of the rook lift here, and he sort of panicked, right? He played f4, which is okay, but then the rook lift, I think, the rook lift is just a little out of place. The rook is going to get himself in front of the pawns and kind of in trouble. You know, he had some ideas. I probably could have even tried to play rook to g6 if it was just for the threats here, but the problem is he had knight e7 check, forking my king and rook. So I played rook e8, and then he goes all in. Queen g4, he attacks my queen again, only getting his rook further misplaced, and now he had gotten himself so distracted with the rook on queen action over here that he just forgot that queen to g6 attacked the knight. So my opponent just blundered a piece, and so this one is just now just in the world of every Russian schoolboy has a good enough technique to win this endgame. I had a nice little trick here. He can't take the rook because I played b2, and I'm going to get a queen. So now the queens are traded. I'm up a piece. Probably the simplest thing to do is to just create a passed a pawn, likely. I mean, am I going to want my knight? Should I just bring the knight in? I can also play check and then take b3. Actually, that looks like the simplest thing to do. Yes, let's just go do that. Check and take b3. So the next game against him is also unwinding, but since you all have been committed with me, I owe you an explanation as well, which is that, so we reached this sort of critical position where I talked about playing g4 instead of h4, because if you remember, we had analyzed h4 and h5. I'm not even sure that that was necessarily right for me. In fact, when he played knight a5 and knight c4, I was expecting him to stay on the aggressive path and do things like, if we switch over to the analysis mode here, I was expecting him to play knight to c5, which I thought would be, I mean, okay, like if I take it, he takes with the pawn, and I've opened up his bishop, and he's got access to the light squares. I mean, this is a problem, right? So I'm not going to do that. I wasn't sure how I wanted to handle this, because he's also threatening to play knight takes b3, queen takes d3, and then knight takes b2. So that's the other issue. And so I think I was going to castle long, but then it was like, you know, what's about to happen here? Is he going to play a5 or knight e4? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have had to have been fully calculated on this approach, which I wasn't really. It was just sort of an assessment that I thought this was his best option. So first he plays king e7, which isn't the worst idea if he wants his rooks connected and actually thinks he's going to win the attack. But it doesn't make sense here when my king hasn't even committed to this side of the board. He's really just voluntarily putting his king into more danger. And so I played f5 pretty quickly. It was no Chess Today show, but I was happy to start opening things up. And instantly on rook cg8, we already know this is headed the wrong direction. If you play king e7 and there's no direct follow-up in terms of the purpose of coordinating your rooks or whatever it was he thought, I think king e7 really in hindsight was just a massive blunder. In fact, I can even just say that and just add a comment here and just say, you know, in hindsight, this is where the game first goes wrong for black, as analyzed 18. NC5 was much more straightforward for black's attack on the queen side. I love our new daily chess analysis. The fact that I can write, I can type, I can save, it's all there. I love it. So now, at the end of a combination, a lot of attacking chances here. Where he, you know, the moment you start playing on the side of the board where your king is under fire, it's like I was telling Hutch in those lessons, right? It's just bad business. And so rook g8, regardless of whatever acumen he's playing. By the way, I was sort of calling his bluff because he can't really take this e5 pawn. I'm just going to switch to the e file, and he's going to have a world of hurt over there. So now I played h5, which I really liked that move. I was preparing knight h4, knight g6. He played rook f4, but that meant the rooks were disconnected, so I swung the queen over to the king side, jumped in there, started to get jiggy with it. He sacrifices the exchange, which I don't think would have been the end of the world, but he didn't see he could have taken with the knight. Oh, that's interesting. If I make a move that's not the main variation, it should just go instantly into analysis. Wouldn't that be cool? Right? I think so. So if he had taken with the knight, his queen actually guards the rook. I don't think he saw that. So that was critical for him, which is what I expected. I was going to play queen to g7, and he's still in big trouble. He's down the exchange and whatever, but the game is far from over. He played rook takes f7, and now the combination is forced. I take here, and in the main game, as you're about to see, I'm going to play rook f1 check, and I'm just going to win the knight, and this one turns out to be worse than his other one. So not the best games. Valera is going to lose both those, which I'm okay with. Okay, so this has been an interesting Verisov. Believe it or not, my knight is fine over here, and c4 this quickly is an interesting extension. I wonder if I can just play b3. I really like that because that's going to open up play to the queen side. Normally, the issue with moves like this, again, is you're eliminating the pressure on the center. That gives me a lot of flexibility here. This whole line started to not go well the moment he played c5. Believe it or not, this early in a Verisov, c5 can be a critical mistake. I played knight to b5, threatening knight to c7, and then as long as I save my bishop, these positions are actually kind of tricky for black. And the knight is pretty solid there. So I'm going to play b3 pretty quickly. I feel good about where the queen side is headed here. I'm not so thrilled with how this one is going, to be quite honest, because I don't know what I want to do. I don't like the dysfunction in my development here. I almost want to just bring the queen back, but that also just feels wrong. And if I go too long, he's going to play d5, which I also don't like. I feel like I'm off to a good opening start and then not playing well in this one. If I commit the bishop to the king side, here's lines I'm analyzing. If I play things like, you know, g5 or g6, he plays knight here, and if I go here, he's going to come in here. And then get moves like this, and the d6 square is a problem. So maybe if we got something like this, I could play g4. That would be interesting. Could he go here? But then we have like moves like this. The knight's under fire. He backs up. I play f5. This could get real sassy. I'm actually starting to like this g5 move. Instinctively, the reason why I know g5 is an option, because this is similar to some positions in the Trapowski. Whenever white gives up the bishop pair this early, which is what happened in this game, right? He goes out of his way to give up the bishop pair this early. You're always thinking about aggressive intentions to start being, being abrasive on the dark squares, right? That sounds like a, I don't know, it sounds like a domestic violence bad joke, but it's not. We're being abrasive here, and we're gonna go for it, on the dark squares, and that's how things are gonna happen. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play g5. Let's do it. Okay. Knight e7. Again, we're talking about abrasive actions on the dark squares. The only question is how. In some of these Frenches, you want to play a4 and bring the bishop to this diagonal. As sexy as it looks over here to be more direct, sometimes the bishop on this diagonal is even better. But I feel like at this point I'm choosing between positive options. The only thing I'm a little bit second-guessing myself about is his threat of queen a5 hitting the c-pawn. So, for example, if I just went out here and he played queen a5, I might be like, oops, now what? Now what? Do I have to go back? That's probably less than ideal. So if I play a4 and he goes here, this is less of an issue because now at least I haven't wasted a tempo. But then in those cases, I'm not sure a4 is the best because I'm certainly not bringing my bishop to a3 anymore. So it makes me think that I want to play something more flexible, something with less of a commitment, whether that's h4, preparing h5, kind of get that little party started over there. Although a4 seems pretty good, I mean, from that perspective, because one of the other irritating things that happens sometimes when the queen comes to a5, I'll just show it here, is that she pops into a4 and hits c2, and you're thinking, oh, well, that's not a problem. No, it is a problem, because now they push and the queen gets in. So maybe a4 feels like instinctively the right option here now. Even if I don't get bishop a3, it feels like a nice flexible move, open up the option, prevent this idea of the queen coming to a4. Daddy play. All right, so here, this is against a fellow staff member, Mishi. Although now he's not stopping me from doing what is kind of a good plan on the dark squares. Normally, it's kind of a decent plan on the dark squares. It goes like this. The song goes a little something like this. Right here. And they play here, and then sometimes you can be aggressive, but here maybe it doesn't work. Other options, of course, are to take and then play e5 anyway. Like sometimes you go like this, and then you play a5 just in time because you gained a tempo with the knight on the bishop. So if they play this, you go back, and your knight is relocating. This is sort of a typical plan in the structure. What am I doing? I have coffee here. You guys, how come nobody reminded me, saying, hey, Dan, where's the coffee? I thought you were all my friends. You see why I love my computer? Because of you guys. Well, turns out, no. If you guys were really my friends, you would have said, hey, Dan, where's the Joe? Oh, it's so sweet. It's just so good once it hits your lips, right? It's so good. Oh, man. Okay. Knight to c6 is where I'm at with the rook on e1. If I delay it any further, he will at some point here play h3. Ooh, but here's an idea. What if I take it, right? He takes it and then play knight d7 right away, right? Here, if he plays d5, I haven't committed the pawn to e5, which actually makes my bishop a slightly more powerful piece here, right? If you're comparing it to the structure I was talking about right here, with e5, knight b4, a5, relocation of the knight to c5. This is not a bad idea at all, right? But the problem here is that the bishop is blocked. Not so simple for me to get very aggressive anyway. But in this scenario right here, research tells us an open bishop is a slightly more powerful piece. And I can actually play knight e5 or knight b4. Something like this, I actually like it. And if he plays knight b3, Defending the pawn. Well, that's a knight. That's a breaking every Russian schoolboy's dreams, right? Blocking a b-pawn. That's not a very pretty pony, is it? I might even play e5 anyway, because the knight on b3 is not an ideal piece. Not at all. Maybe a5, actually. If he plays d5, once again I go there. If he plays a4, it just doesn't feel right, does it? It's like, what's he going on here? The pieces are dysfunctional. I like it. It's not very concrete, is it? It's more positional. What am I aiming for? I'm aiming for control over the dark squares. But seriously, so bishop g4, am I really dismissing this? I can go here first, but then he's going to go d5. And despite how fun this looks at first on the dark squares, he's got the bishop here. I don't think I really have anything long term. So we go here, and then we go there, and it goes there. All right, well, I feel like I've committed to the fact that c takes d4 first seems like the flexible option of all the right plans I know black has in these lines. This is a fun one. Here I won the queen. If you guys remember this one here, I was gaining a big space advantage. He goes all in on the queen's side with his pawn storm, but he's forgetting I have a little bit of a trick here, right? Bishop b6. He's like, oh, Bob's your uncle. Now I've got a sack of the lady. Bishop takes, rook takes, castles, knight takes f4. I'm thinking this is terrible for him, right? Playing up something like queen e4. Where's the knight going? I'm going to play f6, right? Yeah, right. I switched into Aussie there, for those who paid attention. All right. He plays e4. Yeah, this guy knows what he's doing, apparently, in this... Ooh, I love it. That guy knows what he's doing in the Blumenfeld, though. Got to give him that. All right, well, the daily chess seems to have come to an end. That portion is over. Before we jump into the daily puzzle and possibly a feature, let's check in with the chat. We've got another good turnout, a decent amount of viewers, considering that this is happening at 8 a.m. Pacific time on a Monday, where all of you should be at work right now. Although maybe Europe, right? Just checking in with the chat first, giving hi to the Twitchers, right? Tar Bad Jack says, how is Danny only 2050? Because I don't play daily chess very well. That's why. And people play it really well. They take a lot of time. You got 3 to 5 days per move. If you use that, you can be really good. A lot of title players are lower rated in daily chess. The gap between someone who has strategical knowledge, like an experience, which is what title players have, versus like, you can make up for a lot of that by the ability to move pieces and analyze, kind of, doing what you can't do in a real over-the-board chess game. So that's why Bullet and Blitz are probably more of a true reflection of someone's strength than daily chess. EU reported, we love you too, Danny. Thanks, Tela Afui says, is this live? Of course it's live. What do you think this is? Danny, in the perfect opening, why would you put your queen on d2? Oh, you watched the amateur hour with Dave Payet. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Put it this way, Wayne King 7. Thank you for the question, and thank you for watching the shows, by the way. The point is the queen was developing to connect the rook so that the rook should come to the center. You could put the queen on e2, d3, maybe even e3 if you take a couple moves. The point was just to get the queen off the back rank, connect the rooks, and complete development. Obviously, it's irrelevant because the perfect opening is just a dream, right? Just like Nelly said, it was all just a dream. Can your opponent see your comments and analysis on daily chess? The answer is no. Alf Marisuk, the answer is no, which is awesome, right? The daily chess save analysis thing is so cool. Garbanzo Loaf, whatever I'm going to call him, Garbanzo says chess sucks or something. Oh, that means he's not in the right channel. See you later, buddy. No, Speed Chess is coming on Wednesday and Thursday this week. We got Karyak and Meyer, Geary, so it's going to be epic. Say what? All right, thanks everybody for being here. Let's check out the Chess TV chatters. They've been here a little longer than you guys. Hey everybody, how's it going? Hi, Uncle Danny. Hack Lover, I am not your uncle, all right? It's a very good chance we are separated by 6 degrees, right? There's that whole theory. Everybody is separated by just six people. It's a very good, I believe that that's really true in some weird way. It's like everybody knows somebody, right? We learned that first in Spaceballs when he said, "I am your cousin's lawyer's best friend's uncle's former roommate." I love Spaceballs. Whatever happened to Spaceballs? Any Hooters. All right. No real educational questions. You guys have my ear. That's the QA part of the Chess Today show, but you're not bringing it, so I'm going to go back to solving the daily puzzle and keep the truck rolling. So let's go ahead and do it. So this was a daily chess game we already played. We checked in with the content, reviewed Hikaru Nakamura's latest facial expression. Let's check out the daily puzzle. So what do we got here? We got white to move, yeah? Instantly sees it. I've got a couple different ideas. The moment I look at a position, right, you just know where the king is. You know intuitively what you're looking for. You've got checks, captures, right? You've got to look at all those little tempo moves. But, okay, so seriously, the key here is I instantly saw the g file, the king open on the diagonal. The move is going to be bishop to d4 check to deflect the knight, which opens up the e5 square, previously inaccessible. Okay, it stops here, but if you want to play it out to mate, it would be queen f6, queen takes, rook g7, queen takes g7 mate. So, always fun to solve the daily puzzle. Don't miss your chance to do it. I like to do it every day. As we know, earlier in the week, the puzzles are even easier. Though yesterday's Sunday puzzle was easy, but not like obvious. I was surprised by what happened in yesterday's daily puzzle, to be totally honest with you. So, anyway, so that was fun. Quickly solved the daily puzzle, and now we let's go ahead and pop back to the site and talk about what we can do. So, as we noted, okay, we took a look at the Moscow Grand Prix. Congratulations again to the Chinese. Looks like the Ginger GM has a new video that just came out. Fun stuff. Probably he mentions Wile E. Coyote. What else is going on our site? If you're missing Louisa Thomas's articles, you are truly missing out, especially for the majority of our audience. You guys aren't you guys aren't a bunch of grandmasters yet. How could you be when your host is an international master? But Louisa Thomas is actually a sports journalist. She used to write for Grantland and ESPN and 538, and she's a friend of mine. And she's basically doing this as a favor, but not really. She loves chess. She's obsessed with chess. It's become awesome. But her articles are just fascinating and really, really good stuff. And anyway, so check out her articles. I highly recommend Louisa Thomas's article. Somebody else moved. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to go grab that pawn. All right, well, I think we have a couple minutes for a feature, but not much. A couple minutes for a feature, so I can't really do a drill. Let's see if I have, let me check if there's any other interesting questions. Doesn't look to be. Doesn't look like there's a lot of questions coming in. The Chess TV chat seems to be totally dead. No questions. Shocking. What's up, Gabby Eid on Twitch? Are you playing against 14 people simultaneously? Well, yeah, I mean, the thing about daily chess is you can have a lot of games going at once. It's not some sort of like, blitz simul, but that's what makes daily chess so fun. All right. So, looks like there were more questions coming into chess. I knew the chat was frozen somehow. That's interesting. Talk a little about daily tournaments. So daily tournaments, I mean, if you want to play a tournament, you can just go into play and go to tournaments, and you can enter any daily tournament. The main thing you see right now is my tournaments. If you go to my daily tournaments, I'm actually involved in this tournament right here, this staff, the 36th staff tournament. Or no, I'm involved in the staff tournament, which isn't the 36th staff tournament, but I'm involved in the 36chess.com tournament. Within a rating class, they pair you from when you started, so 453 players. And these are a lot of fun. But the thing about our tournaments that's just so fun, a lot of people don't know, is if you can create your own daily tournament, that may be premium only, but I think most people can create their own tournaments. But what I want to see is actually, I want to go to the All Tournaments tab. And I want to sort by, so here's the upcoming tournaments. You can go into the upcoming tournaments and you can look for openings or tournaments that are specifically on your opening. So the tournament legend will help you learn like kind of what exactly the tournament is. But if I wanted to search for a tournament on the Sicilian, Would that work? Yeah, so look at that. You can just have like a, you can, there's so many people looking to practice their openings, to play certain positions that just start with a current thematic, like your 7 moves in, so you don't have to waste your time with the openings. The thing, I actually have loved playing in tournaments of openings that I don't play, just to like learn a new opening, and I always lose anyway in daily chess, so what's new, right? Might as well go play something I don't know. But if you wanted to go, you would just click on the Rossalimo Sicilian and you would join the tournament, and it's a ton of fun. I mean, so to answer your question, who asked this question? It was a good one. Talking about daily tournaments, I forget. Looks like the chat's already gone. Miss Gorig 3 says she loves, or he or she loves Louisa Thomas's articles. I agree with you. Off topic, Danny, you a runner. What's your best time in the mile? I've run a 7-minute mile, like just over 7 minutes, like 7:06 or something, like. But a friend of mine is a real runner, and he just ran a sub 6-minute mile, like 5 minutes and 51 seconds. So he's a jerk. And he and I do some running. He takes me on long runs, but I'm not built like a runner. Okay, I run every time I run. I'm like a dirt. You know what I mean? I hit the ground. I'm not very at one with the earth. Okay, there's no Aragorn or Native American spirit in me. All right, I'm a real goofball when it comes to running. So it's all effort. It means if I'm in good shape and I feel up to it, I'm running. But my best 5K was 20, either just under 23 or right at like 23, in the 23 teens, right around there. But he's run like a 21-minute 5K, and I'm sure he can run faster now. So, I'm a CrossFit fanatic. That's what I do. So much more like cardio meets like, you know, you do a little bit of weights and stuff like that. But I don't really like the gym environment. I've always hated lifting weights, and people go in there and they're like, yo, bro, like look at yourself in the mirror for 20 minutes and have some conversation and maybe do some benches. Like, hashtag gross. I've never loved the gym environment. But CrossFit is phenomenal because for a type A personality like me, you go in there and someone says, do this and do it in this amount of time and go home. And I'm like, thank you. That's all I've ever wanted. I don't want to spend any more time here than I need to. So that's my CrossFit plug for the day. I think we're going to have to bring it to a close because I'm actually leaving to a 9 a.m. CrossFit class like right now. And so we're going to bring it to a close. We talked about daily tournaments. That was sort of our feature. So yeah, go to the daily tournaments page. And of course, you can also play live chess tournaments. I mean, a lot of people know that. I mean, if you go into live chess, did you know that you can now create your own tournaments, right? If you go to the tournaments tab and you click on club tournament, you can create tournaments for a specific club. You can also do a match, club on club action. Fun fact I learned the other day is if you name your match like Danny's Test or whatever, if you challenge a club, an admin for their club has to be in live. So I was doing Dan Heisman's club, and it stopped going, and I thought our tool was broken, so I reported a bug, and that irritated Eric, right? But it turns out if you have to have an admin of the club you're challenging be in live chess at the time. So that's a fun little, you know, quick tutorial. You're welcome. Little fun fact if you're creating your own match-on-match action. So, all right, everybody, thanks for being here. We're gonna cut out right now. This has been the Chess Today show. Appreciate everybody. Do me a favor, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Chess.com YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitch because that's where we are right now. And at some point here, we'll all get together and we'll have, you know, I don't know, we'll have a really good time when we get together. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel like we'd all get along. Have I ever died doing CrossFit? That's probably the best question of the day. I've come close to it. You know, no, CrossFit, I think if you have good coaches who scale properly, it's not as difficult as its intimidating reputation would imply. And for me, like I said, it's nice to have a coach, someone who just tells you what to do so you don't waste any downtime in the gym. You go in, you're in a class of other people, there's a community aspect to it, and it's always a balance of muscle building stuff and cardio. So, I mean, that's like all I've ever wanted. Someone to tell me what to do, to have a balance in my life, and to have peace and happiness. I mean, if I could bring those 3 things into my marriage in a healthy way, she tells me what to do. But is it always in balance? right? And do we always have peace? I don't know, right? I mean, I'm being real here. So, but that's all I've ever wanted, and CrossFit gives me that. So, all right, peeps, love you. Make sure you check out the Chess TV calendar. We got the Speed Chess Championships coming up, and I will be here tomorrow as well for the Chess Today show. I'm out. Peace.